Hello friends, this is Rahul Magan here, is the Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting LLP, and today we would be covering a topic which is ISDA Closeout Model 2002. Well, closeout is a very important term which we have in the foreign exchange market, but unfortunately this is not getting discussed in India. In fact, majority of the people of the India do not aware about what do you mean exactly by the closeout. Closeout is one of the topic which is heatedly debated nowadays in the foreign exchange market. And as far as the informal news is concerned, the ISDA is coming up with an amendment on closeout versus the existing model, which is ISDA Closeout Model 2002. But before moving this on this topic, let me elaborate something about what closeout stands at. Closeout means that when a party defaults, either side, it could be bank or a corporate or a bank, or it could be interbank, bank versus bank, or a cross-border transaction also. Interbank is generally cross-border. When either of the party defaults, then second party would wind up all the transactions with that party. And the winding cost of all these transactions will of course on the non-defaulting party, and the non-defaulting party would try and recover whatever maximum they could recover, because the defaulting party will go under Chapter 11 in US, right? In India they will go for IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. So whatever recovery that could possible from that default, it's turned out to be a closeout. Now the meaning of the closeout is close plus out. Now what do you mean by close plus out? Means that the transaction between two parties have been closed, and out means whatever best outcome which can be derived after defaulting, that we should have that best outcome. Unfortunately, in India and majority parts of the globe, closeout is going to be coined as a settlement risk. No, closeout is beyond settlement risk. Now what do you mean by closeout is that once you default, then you need to wind up your transaction and you need to settle it out, whatever recovery would you have. Closeout come into existence in 2008. It's not that closeout was not into existence in 2008, but 2008, and especially after Lehman and one of the German banks, it comes into existence. So this is what exactly closeout is as of now. Now closeout is, we have a lot of corporates across the globe, and hereby we are taking up blue chip corporates like Microsoft, Google, Cognizant, Accenture, Sapient, Capgemini, Tesla, Apple, General Motors, Finimi, Ginimi, and Glencore. They all are AAA rated corporates, right? You can note from their name: Microsoft, Google, Cognizant, Accenture, and all. They used to dealt with Lehman Brothers. Now here is the Lehman Brothers. We know that Lehman Brothers has defaulted. Henceforth, Lehman Brothers defaulted in 2008. Henceforth, we are keeping this defaulted in 2008. Henceforth, ISDA is coming up with an amendment which is ISDA Closeout 2002. Now, what exactly did happen? These all corporates are very big corporates, and these all corporates tend to do a lot of foreign exchange transaction with Lehman Brothers before 2008. Example: options, option strategies, payoff, swaps, reverse dollar swaps, overnight index swaps, LIBOR swaps, knock-in knockout, digital swaps, credit linked notes, equity linked notes, currency linked notes, commodity linked notes, and exotics. So a lot of swaps, a lot of derivative instruments used to get traded from these corporates with the Lehman Brothers. Of course, before 13 September 2008, nobody ever thought that Lehman could have been defaulted. And if you really wish to learn more about Lehman, you should see a very good Hollywood movie which is Margin Call, in which they will tell you exactly how Lehman defaulted, what did happen on the 12th September 2008 night, how the Lehman board got to know that roughly $9.8 trillion of derivatives were lying on an equation which is almost worthless, which is zero, which is much greater than, several times greater than the valuation of the Lehman at that point of time. And at that point of time, Lehman was a AAA rated bank. Before 12 September 2008, very few insiders were aware that Lehman could have been defaulted, and the exact categorization have been given in a Hollywood movie which is Margin Call. It is of course my favorite movie, right? Now 12 September 2008, Lehman defaulted. Let's hold here. When a corporate hedge with Lehman, Lehman is going to hedge in the interbank market. No bank, no company will take the funding in his pocket. So when a corporate will hedge with the Lehman hedge it with the interbank market. So Lehman hedge with the interbank, which is, say their partners are Westpac, ANZ Sydney, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, National Bank of Australia, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, HSBC, UBS, BNP Paribas, DBS Singapore, Royal Bank of Canada, Standard Chartered and Citi. Of course, the size of the board is limited, but practically speaking, the list is pretty long. The banks like Lehman, Goldman Sachs, Credit Suisse, they generally have more than 500 banks, as in their interbank traders. For a simplest to an exotic item, they have an interbank partner. So these are the assumed interbank partner which we have. Of course, at the same time, Lehman is going to take the CDS on all the deals which they are doing with the Microsoft, and that CDS is practically, the cost of the CDS is practically nothing but CVA, which is credit valuation adjustment. If the client will default, assuming General Motors, assuming Tesla, Apple, Cognizant, Microsoft, Google, if they default, then Lehman is protected by something which is CDS, which is credit default swap. That is a separate thing that Lehman could have done FTD also, which is first to default swap. Lehman could have done single name CDS. Lehman could have done multi-name CDS. They could have done single trigger CDS. They could have done multi-trigger CDS, single basket CDS, multi-basket CDS. So there are a lot of varieties of the CDS which Lehman do have. If Lehman default, then there is going to be an issue. The issue is that Lehman is a bank, not a bank. Lehman is a global bank. If a global bank default, global bank first of all would have a roots across the globe. Like AIG, American Insurance Group. I still remember that in 2009 when I was in the SL Technologies and we got the news that AIG is all set to go bankrupt. In fact, at that point of time, Citibank share were reached to $3 before Citi board handed over all the control to Vikram Pandit. Then everybody was thinking that if AIG would bankrupt, which is American Insurance Group, then in that sense the world market is gone, because the roots of AIG is so deep, even deeper and deeper than the American government. So American government had to came and save AIG, else AIG was gone. And if AIG was gone, American system was gone. Now what is going to happen is, in that sense, if the big banks like Lehman Brothers defaulted, which I'm crossing here now, if the Lehman Brothers defaulted, they will default on all instruments. And if they default on all instruments, in that sense, what it would happen, in that sense, it would be a closeout situation. And ISDA will come into place, which is International Stocks and Derivative Association. We all understand what ISDA means. ISDA is an agreement between two parties, whereby both parties trying to protect themselves from all defaulting activity that could have happened in the OTC market. In that sense, the closeout model will come into picture, and this closeout model will be ISDA closeout model 2002, in which there are two methods which are stated. One is the market quotation method, second is the loss methods, and one is the set off method. These all we are going to discuss, not in detail, just a little understanding of that. Market quotation method means, first of all, the closeout will always happen on M2M basis, which is mark to market. Closeout will always happen on M2M basis, and there are three ways mark to market can be computed: L1, L2, L3. L1 means 100% observable data, 0% non-observable data. L2 means at least 1% non-observable data and 99% observable data. L3 means 0% observable data. Now in this, what would happen? In this what would happen? The market quotation method, the parties will go to market, in which they will find the value. If the parties will go in the market and if they will find the value, that value is going to be recovered from the defaulting party. Assuming the Lehman Brothers is having, we have a space here, assuming Lehman Brothers is having 500 billion of trade with Microsoft, and the mark to market is assuming positive, which is L1, mark to market is $120 billion. In that sense, 120 has to be recovered from the Lehman, and rest is zero. L2 means, but this method is worthless if we have exotic trades. And sitting today, the ratio of the exotic to non-exotics is very high. That is always an issue. So in that sense, people will go to loss method. Loss method is a very subjective method. Loss method means that you will take a subjective call. Microsoft will tell people that no, the value of my currencies is, the value of my deal is $150 billion. This is not $120 billion. So they need to recover that amount. It is a highly subjective method and subject to debates a lot of times. And third is a set of method. Set of method means in case of an interest rate swap, what generally it happens, a party is taking a funding, which is ECB, external commercial borrowing, or maybe different kind of funding. LIBOR funding, non-LIBOR funding, Euribor funding, SONIA funding, SONIA stand for Sterling Overnight Index Average. Party will take the funding from from the bank and taking the interest rate swap position with the same bank. So this is set off. So three ways closeouts are going to be settled, but of course closeout is always subjective in nature. Closeout is always an issue. The valuation of the closeout is always an issue. Closeout himself is an issue. After 2008, when the Lehman defaulted, the last line, 12 September 2008, when everybody was aware that the Lehman has defaulted, just half an hour before, one of the German banks was having a cross-currency swap with the Lehman. Just half an hour before the declaration of the default by Lehman, they transferred roughly 300 million euro to the Lehman London branch. And after half an hour on the TV channels, they got a news that the Lehman defaulted. And Lehman not spared even a single dollar to them. And the deal stands cancelled. So closeout, ultimately the closeout happened. Nobody knows what was the value of that. Even nobody is aware that when the Lehman defaulted, how much was the closeout. Closeout is a very, very technical topic. The more you go, the more you will value it, the more you will understand it. We are coming up with a lot of these videos on the closeout and the ISDA. This was about closeout. And before winding up this video, we would like to tell you that Treasury Consulting LLP has started the practice of insolvency and the bankruptcy code. We are starting our batches for insolvency and bankruptcy code, and our website is bringing a lot of changes. Hopefully in the next 5-7 days, you will see a lot of changes in our website pertaining to trainings and all. We are also launching our valuation desk and also launching the derivative valuation, and which would cover also the valuation of the closeout. So there are many things which the company would be doing in the next 2-3 months. If you have anything, to discuss, my website is www.treasuryconsulting.in. My mobile is 9899242978. Skype ID is Rahul5327, and email is rahul.magan@treasuryconsulting.in. We would like to thank you very much, and hopefully we will bring a lot of videos to our YouTube channel. Thank you.